Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to EWC Central. We have entered our third hour of the broadcast, and as you can see at the bottom of my screen, Apex Legends and Rainbow Six are live for the day, as well as Honor of Kings has wrapped up their group stage. We will keep you updated on all those results a little bit later on. Right now, I have another very special guest, a content creator, a journalist, an aspiring broadcaster who has taken to our sofa, and his nickname is JUMBA. Is that right? Your name, Greg?
Yeah, Greg, but I go by JUMBA on the socials. And
okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm excited to be here. It's been an absolute grand time. I flew in a couple days ago.
Hold up. Don't get too excited. Let's dial this back. Just very quickly, so you know, our broadcast, we cover all the games. You saw that a second ago. This is our roundup, our variety show. Tell the viewers on that camera a little bit about yourself, where you're from and what you do.
So, again, my name's JUMBA. I'm from Canada, actually, and I'm a content creator that is, I focus on Apex Legends, but specifically competitive Apex. I cover all the storylines of the top teams, the up-and-comers, and, you know, the way I try to explain it is I make it way more dramatic than it needs to be.
Awesome.
That's so that the viewer really gets bought into, like, you know, what's going on with the scene and excited about the events that come up.
As long as you don't use clickbait titles, I'll forgive you on this one.
No.
Let's talk a little bit about your background. I know we were just doing a little bit of prep before, you know, we went live. You told me about some of your esports background and history, but how long have you been involved? Did you ever compete? What drove you to content creation?
So, I mean, I just love creating videos. It's always been something that I've done since I was like 10 years old. So I always wanted to get into that, but I also was playing FPS games for the longest of time too. The old Halo games, Call of Duty, and then, like, you know, I started getting into competitive gaming a little bit with Counter-Strike. Not too seriously, but when Apex came out, that kind of like took over my life. I found that I was, for most games, actually relatively decent at the game. I never competed, was never at the pro level, but I love the pro scene. I followed it so closely since the day they came out. And yeah, I just proceeded to, you know, start building the stories up from there. And a little bit into the game, about 2-3 years in, I started creating videos about it. And
okay, great. So listen, I'm going to put your knowledge to the test now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the Apex Legends scene as a whole, right?
Yes.
Just before you stepped into my studio, one of my Apex Legends broadcasters and specialists mentioned the following statement.
Okay.
That Australian players are basically hard carrying North America. Now, as a Canadian, you don't have a horse in this race, okay?
Yeah.
So, well, you do North America, but anyways, how accurate is the statement, and what do you think of the Australian players?
You know what? I guess it is pretty accurate. You know, there's there's Zero and there's Jen Burton, both Australian players, and they are two of, I think, 6 players. No, at this point, 9 players that have won a LAN. They've won 3 on their own, and they're arguably 2 of the best players in the world, part of Falcons now.
Okay.
Aside from that, there's also Waltzy, MT. MT just left North America, but they came to North America at the beginning of, the middle of 2023.
Okay. Listen. I'm South African. I don't need to hear more about how good Australians are. Okay, seriously.
Well, they really are carrying. You asked,
Commonwealth
and, like,
brothers and all that. What I would love to do is thank you for validating that. You created a very fun dynamic for the rest of my show, so thank you. What I would love to do is get your professional predictions on this one, right?
Yeah.
I know everyone is saying, at least from what I understand, that Falcons are far and away the favorites for this tournament. Validate if you think that's true, and also who do you think the dark horses could be to win?
Absolutely. You know what? Falcons really is far ahead of the competition, as I just mentioned. Zero, Jen Burton, but they also have probably the most known player in the game, Imperial Hal, came from TSM, and he's also the person who's won probably the most LAN tournaments in Apex history. So with the 3 of them, they're just a trio that cannot be stopped. But Apex is really interesting that it does have a match point format, meaning in the final, you have to win a final
After you get the 60 points.
Right?
We literally just learned about it, so did all of our viewers. So thank you very much, Jordan.
Yeah, so with that being said, you know, there's a lot of teams. I think Mizuchi, they're a team that a lot of people, I think, right now aren't expecting much from them because they didn't have the best pro league, but they, I think, can really shock the world. Waltzy is a great player, as I was mentioning. They got Timmy, who's performed very well at LAN, and they have a player named Guild, who is one of 9 players to make top 5 at LAN 3 times, and 2 of those times he was number 2.
Give me your 3 teams that you think could pick it up, understanding that the match point system is going to be in there, but what are the 3 team names?
I'd say Mizuchi, Fnatic from Japan, and then SSG, or Space Station Gaming.
Okay, awesome. Right, well, look, we're going to take a look at that. First of all, thank you very much. The credibility is not in doubt at all. Very clearly aware of the scene, and you have receipts, okay? I give you that one. I want to make sure that this next question comes across correctly, but I've been fortunate enough to interview some of the biggest creators, owners, CEOs, players on the sofa, and to be fair, you're on the smaller side of the content creation / influencer space. So what are you doing at EWC? What are you up to? What are the goals?
Well, hey, small doesn't really matter to me. I've been doing this for 2 years, 1 year full time, and if I'm sitting in the same spot that Tyler 1 was, gotta mean something, right? What am I doing at EWC? You know, I got to go out to LA for the first time to go to the last ALGS LAN, and from there I met some amazing people who invited me out to here to EWC to just document the Apex tournament, the process going on here, the $2 million we're fighting for, and like I was saying at the beginning, it's been a grand time. The way I could explain this event is everything is just big. It's like, it just feels so much bigger than anything I've ever experienced before.
Use a different adjective. What do you mean? Unpack that for me.
Like, the stage is massive. The lounge that we have at the hotel is like nothing that you would ever expect. And then like the district that you have here, you could see it online, you could see photos, but like experiencing it is big.
At the risk of sounding like a dad mode, you've got a great voice. You are very compelling to listen to, and what we discussed, there's a lot of future. You mentioned that you're doing content. I obviously am expecting, and if I'm not, I'm demanding now content from this day, obviously.
100%.
Can you please tell our viewers, where can they find you? How do they keep in touch with your content? And I just want to say thank you for taking the time. So number one, again, let us know.
Appreciate it. So yeah, the place that you keep up with all my updates would actually be on Twitter. That would be JUMBA GW, but where I am most known for is my YouTube channel. Again, JUMBA GW. I keep it all the same, very straightforward. And if you've never played Apex before, I try to focus on making all my videos very easy to understand for like the most basic viewer possible. So it's the best place to go to get into the competitive scene and learn everything about the game.
I will take up your challenge on that, because I just started really diving into Apex about 6 months ago. I fall in love with the game. It is complex and is compelling. Thank you so much for taking the time. I will be noting down your predictions, and I'll let you know on Twitter whether or not you were right or wrong.
I mean, Falcons, it's a pretty easy prediction.
But look, you gave me 3 alternatives, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
If I'm right on those, I'll be talking about it all week long.
I sincerely hope so. This video will be on YouTube as well for the rest.
Sounds good.
JUMBA, thank you so much for your time. We're actually about to dive into an Apex map, and as we prepare for the very first map of the day and our EWC Central co-stream, let's hear from FaZe Clan Synetic, who joined us in yesterday's ALJ interview.